Bummed because I just went out and shot this video and it took like 3 hours to shoot it, but it just was crap. Videos got corrupted, and the ones that were still alive, they were just bad. So I'm gonna just reshoot it right now, and I wanted to just basically, it was an introduction to a new playlist on this channel. It's Style, and you'll notice it by the red theme in the thumbnails. And you'll start to understand, hopefully, it'll start to make sense that I'm color coding my playlists. It's going to be pretty cool category because style. This episode, basically what I want to say is I wanted to define what is style. So as I change this channel around, I wanted to mention that style is a new category that I'll be adding to it. And style, I will be dabbling and talking about it specifically as an umbrella term, not necessarily clothing. However, clothing a lot of times will just be the easiest way to convey or explain a message. When I initially thought of this category of style, I initially just couldn't figure out how to define it. I talked to people and they would also stammer around and they couldn't figure it out as well, or they started thinking of it only for clothing. And that's just not the case. It's not just about clothes. You can have a style with your filmmaking or your photography, and even just architecturally. It spans across a lot of things. So how do you define style? And that's what I really want to do with this, so that you can grow your style in whatever medium you plan. So the first thing about what makes style, as far as I'm concerned, is a deliberate, intentional direction. And this can be subconscious, a lot of times it is, but let's just start with clothing because I do think that it's the easiest to understand. Let's say a furry coat. This is a faux fur, first of all, and that was a deliberate choice. And you will also find with a lot of my things that there is no animal cruelty. But you just won't find certain things. You'll find a little bit more natural cloth and more sustainable or long-term clothing. It's not fast fashion, so to speak. I look at, in my clothing, where does it come from? What's the style? How often can I wear it? Like, how loud is it? Because, like, let's say it's a bright red shirt or sweater, I know I'm gonna get bored with that really quick. So it's unsustainable, and it's a deliberate choice that starts to add up. And the second thing I was thinking about how I was defining style, or how could I define it? And I thought about, it's maybe a little bit elaborate or very specific, and with a little jewelry or whatever. Again, clothing is easy to explain it with, but I think that wasn't true either, because I like to have a minimalist style, or a very bland, you could so to speak. However, that blandness is absolute. It's a certain type of fabric. It's a certain style that can be worn. It's a little more timeless and casual in a certain sense, but it's not more in a sense. Like, exactly the opposite of that. The less of stuff, the less jewelry. That's what defines mine. So where are we now? We have deliberate, and it can be either or. That really doesn't define it yet either. So we don't really have much conversation here going on. I'm just kind of saying, I thought about this, and was that, it wasn't this, and it's just kind of me thinking out loud. But I did come up with a conclusion to what I define style clothing-wise, or just any sort of thing, is an absolute understanding, more of an instant understanding, something that somebody can look at and say, hey, they're doing this, hey, they are this way. It's almost like more generic and stereotype way. How quickly can you stereotype something? And that starts to lend it into becoming a style of some sort, something that's easily memorable and definable quickly. Because see, the thing is that humans like to label things. It's our way of understanding it. And when you see style, that's introducing a new label to someone's mind. Like, let's take my shirt. You may say, oh, normally like, I don't know, what is it? It's like leaves and shit like that. Maybe you think of leaves as being pretty or so on, and to me, I like this because it has no color. It's opposite of that florally stuff that I normally see. So to me, it's like, oh, you shifted that just a little bit, and then this toning can start to say, oh, I see shapes, I see this, and it's more of a texture, a visual texture. And now I see that, and that's new to me, and that's something that I personally, why I bought it way back like 3 years ago, is because it defines something new in my mind. And it's personally new to me, or my brain. Somebody else might not think it's stylish, but to me, it was something new. Let's say, for instance, Fight Club was a movie I really liked way back. I saw Brad Pitt in a red leather jacket, and he made it look cool, he was fit, he filled it out correctly. That was new to me. I never saw a red leather jacket, and I saw how it was done. And if they do it correctly, then it can be influential. In this particular video series, I will be talking a lot about different kinds of style. But I wanted to kick it off with this general idea of what style is and how I treat it as basically summed up as a deliberate nature, deliberate direction, and a creation for something that, I mean, it can be by accident, but usually by accident isn't always best. And I will get into what I think is good style and bad style and the difference, and then I want to talk about how some things can work for certain mediums. So even just a photograph for social media versus a photograph for the web, they will be different, and they'll have a different style, and they may not work, and you might not think it's stylish, like just it's a very situational thing. But it's really fascinating to me, something I think about a lot. But I want to hear from you guys what you may or may not struggle with. Is it clothing? Is it your photography? Is it, I don't even know, your dialogue with women? Because there is a style, and I want to talk about a little bit of them as a whole, as a general topic. I want to really dive into these topics in theory-wise and also just practically. So that was this whole episode. Bummed that I just filmed 4 hours of footage on it and it just corrupted. So, well, time for a new camera. And until next time, peace.